All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a Walking Dead video for today after the huge news that the Walking Dead comic book series will be ending. This one will do a Q&A, but first we're going to give our thoughts on AMC officially commenting on Robert Kirkman ending the comic version of the series. Alright, so pretty big news in the Walking Dead world, of course. If you guys still haven't heard yet, I did lots of videos on this one yesterday, or at least a couple already, and that is that the Walking Dead comic book series will finally be ending, will finally be coming to a close with issue 193, which releases today. I haven't read it yet, not yet, so if you're looking for a review, this isn't it. It might even be tomorrow by the time I get to review it, because I have to work later today. I've got 8-hour shift, the usual kind of deal. I have to work Wednesday this week, so it might be tomorrow by the time I get the review up for you guys. I'll get it out for you as soon as I can, because I'm going to read it today, obviously, but to film the review and everything, it might be tomorrow. So, where are we at right now? I did those two videos yesterday. Robert Kirkman announcing that this series is ending, and then also confirming that this is the end of The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead is over. They're not going to be doing, at least based on that statement, if you take what he's saying as the truth, then that would mean that they're not going to be doing any other spin-off series or, continuing launching some other kind of Walking Dead series in the comic form. This is it. He's had enough and he's not doing any more Walking Dead. Of course, these comments are totally in conflict with what we were told a couple of years ago, which is that he kind of planned out The Walking Dead for a very, very long time, and that he could do hundreds of issues, and that he could do The Walking Dead basically forever as long as he's alive, type of thing. Because that's kind of the direction that we were given, a year, 2 years, 3 years ago. But things have certainly changed with The Walking Dead, in the TV series universe, and we'll get into that one here because of AMC's comments. But, things have changed with The Walking Dead. At one time, it was pretty much the hottest property on television, and in comic form, it was one of the hottest comics on the shelves. The trades selling extremely well, selling incredible. And the last year or two, I'm not sure. I think it's still doing incredibly well, and the end will obviously do incredibly well as well, too. He doesn't have to do it if he doesn't want to, and so it sounds like he's finally made the decision that this is it. However, I am a little bit suspicious about him kind of saying that he was all working towards this point to have this be the end. I haven't read the issue yet today, though. After I read the issue, I'll kind of give more concrete thoughts on that after I read issue 193, which is the big issue, the triple issue, and can kind of see how things actually do end off. Then I could give my thoughts on whether or not, I think it was purposeful and kind of set out this way years ahead of time, and that this is where he ultimately wanted to get the series to and end it here. Kind of hard to tell right now because you have conflicting statements, so you don't know, was this always the plan, or or was he always messing with us before when he said he was going to do all these other issues and keep it going for more years to come? What's the truth, right? So we'll see. I'll give more thoughts on that after I actually read the issue all the way through. But AMC has now commented, and we'll go through your guys' comments on this one after too, because certainly lots to talk about with this abrupt change in future direction for the series, albeit this one being a full stop and that's it, it's over. AMC comments and Robert Kirkman ending The Walking Dead. Link in the description. Following the news of The Walking Dead comics coming to a shocking abrupt end this week, the network, which has adapted to the popular zombie series into a TV hit, or a hit TV show, or several, I guess, has released a statement. The comic series will end with issue 193, which hits shelves, comic book stores on Wednesday, which is today. But the TV series will continue for the foreseeable future. And likewise with how Kirkman was saying that he was going to keep it going for a very long time and maybe do 200 or 300 issues or something like that, and he could foresee it lasting that long. Or at least that was the impression that I got from online articles that I read for interviews, is that he could see it going to 300 or whatever. Basically, he could keep it going as long as he wants to, basically forever if he wants. AMC, likewise, has said the same kind of thing. They have said another 10 years. So that would bring us to season 19 or 20. And so for people who are saying, not going to happen, well, maybe you're right. Maybe it won't happen. Maybe they won't last another 10 years for the Walking Dead original television series. But that's what they said. And now we're dealing with a situation where this has been said that it's going to last for 100 issues more or whatever, at least issue 200, and it hasn't. So this one was a shocker. The TV series, though, I think is different. I don't think anyone's kind of messing with us with that. I think they do fully intend on having The Walking Dead continue for another 10 years. It's the most popular series they've ever had. They're not going to want to let it go. And so I do tend to think that it at least will be on for a few more years. If it doesn't last another decade, well, it doesn't last another decade. But I think it's at least going to get a few more years and will be airing even after, of course, the Walking Dead comic series has ended. It may even pass eventually the storyline point, and then they'll have to adapt their fully owned new content because they won't have the comic series to base the storylines on anymore. They're going to have to completely come up with their own stuff, which, is fine. There's certain story arcs in the Walking Dead TV series that were really good that weren't based on the comics, at least I think. Daryl certainly turned out great, and he's not a comic character. He was never in the comics. Carol was never in the comics in the same way. There's a character of the same name, Carol, but it's not the same character, So the TV series has done a lot of things to kind of create it their own, and in the future, all they'll have to do is just dial that up a little bit further and make basically the whole thing their own, right? It's just what they're going to have to do. This extraordinary comic created a world that already lives in multiple forms and in the hearts and minds of millions of fans around the world, and will for many years to come, AMC Networks said in a statement. The comic series ending is not expected to impact the TV series, period. So let's stop there with their quote. I don't really think it's really going to impact the TV series. I mean, I don't see how it would really impact the TV series right away. Maybe when they get to season 14 or something like that, or 13, and they run out of comic book material, or in a few years from now, let's say it's even, if it even goes with a faster pace, let's say season 13. Let's say by season 13, they've ran through most of the content, and they have to kind of take things in their own direction after that with no comics to base it on. Fine. I mean, the TV series is completely different. Here you have the second last cover of the series of The Walking Dead. Here's Carl on the cover. So obviously the TV series has already gone completely its own way and is going to continue to go completely its own way. Judith and everything, it's totally different, and so they'll probably use all of the content that's been released in the comics as part of the TV series, but the TV series will continue on even past that. In a lot of ways, maybe has kind of outgrown the comics. Multiple series spinning off Fear of the Walking Dead, which is not even a comic. Certain characters in there, Alicia and Strand, and even Morgan and the way he is in the TV series. These are characters that, like Daryl, Carol, the others I said, the TV series universe is already kind of its own thing anyway. It's almost, you have the Whisperers, you have villains, and you have certain storyline elements that are incorporated, but you have others that aren't, such as the Kingdom shutting down in the finale of season 9, the Wintertime, and that kind of stuff that they showed. It was their own deal, their own storyline, their own stuff. So they use some of it, and then they add in their own, and in the future they'll just have to completely add in their own because there won't be anything to base it on. But that doesn't kill my hope for the future series. I think the TV series will probably do just fine, at least for a few more years anyway. Then we'll see after that. Once we get to season 12 or 13, then we can kind of say, okay. But there's also the movies. There's going to be another spin-off series. Fear's still going strong. There's no indication they're going to cancel Fear either. It might get a 6th season too. I wouldn't be surprised if it does. So, yeah, we got to kind of separate the TV series and the comics almost entirely now. If they knew this was coming for a while, then that could be why they made some decisions like what they did with Carl and the other stuff, is because, maybe they knew ahead of time. But it's just so weird because he didn't telegraph it at all. And in interviews, what he had said, he gave us the impression it was going to go on for a very long time. Maybe he did that on purpose because he wanted to kind of shock us when the end did come, just out of nowhere. And he kept it under wraps pretty good. It was one day before release until we all found out, hey, this is the last issue. So he did a pretty good job of keeping it under wraps and maybe lied a little bit or misled people a little bit into thinking it was going to last way longer than that. But, it's what it is. So I hate knowing what's coming, Kirkman wrote in the now online letter hack section of issue 193. As a fan, I hate it when I realize I'm in the 3rd act of a movie and the story is winding down. I hate that I can count commercial breaks and I know I'm nearing the end of a TV show. I hate that you can feel when you're getting to the end of a book or graphic novel. Some of the best episodes of Game of Thrones are when they're structured in such a way and paced to perfection so your brain can't tell if it's been watching for 15 minutes or 50 minutes. And when the end comes, you're stunned. And then he continues, I love long movies for that very reason. You lose track of time because you went in convinced that you're going to be there for a long time. But the story moves at such an entertaining and engaging pace that by the time the movie's wrapping up, you can't believe it's already over. Surprise, it's over. All I've ever done and a creator can really do is tailor-make stories to entertain themselves and hope the audience feels the same way. That's all I've ever been doing, and it seems to work most of the time. And then he'll be at the San Diego Comic-Con as well, of course, this year, serving as his own panelist on the Walking Dead Hall H panel Friday, July 19th. So that's the article. That's AMC's response. So it doesn't sound like anything's changing with AMC as a result of the comics. Really, it isn't. And, really, it's a moot point with regards to the TV series. It really doesn't impact the TV series universe at all. For anybody who got confused, the TV series is not ending. The TV series is continuing on just as it normally is. This is only for the comic. When he says The Walking Dead is over, yeah, he's talking about the true Walking Dead, which is the original Walking Dead, which is this one. And I'm sure in his mind, this is the true Walking Dead. In terms of casual viewers, well, more people watch the show, so it's what it is. But the show is going to continue on, and we can speculate. I can't wait to read the interviews and letter hacks and everything to get an understanding of what all went into this, and we can kind of make sense of this and kind of give our kind of more advanced thoughts on this after we find out the who, where, what, why, how long did he have this planned ahead of time? Is it really true that the comic book cover releases were fake outs and that he knew it was ending and that he just released them anyway just to kind of keep everyone in the norm and then swerve us right at the end to say, no, it's over. Yeah, that's, would he do something? Would he do that? Maybe he would. Or is it also possible that he fully intended to do those issues, but he decided you know what, I'm just going to end at 193 and that's it. Just release all 3 of those issues at once and, forget the covers and we'll just do that. We'll see what we think when it's all said and done and what the real truth is, especially since we can't take people at face value, or we can't take him at face value, what he says at face value, because he said it was going to last that long, and that was obviously a lie. I mean, you can't be apologetic for that. I mean, obviously, you could say that, well, I wanted to surprise everybody, but you still lied. I mean, you lied in order to be able to get the shock. Okay, so you did it. The end justifies the means. I get it. But you still lied, right? Can we admit that there? Can we at least admit that you lied about it? Because you did. Even if it was to serve some kind of purpose or something. It's like, okay, but you still did, right? Anyway, me being a weird, honest person in a society of full-on, hardcore liars, it's just, it's like Game of Thrones. You mentioned Game of Thrones. It's like when Eddard goes to the rat's nest when he goes to King's Landing and everyone's, lying to each other, or Sansa, like Littlefinger says to Sansa, right? Look around you. All of us are liars here. We're all better at it than you are. That's how it kind of feels, sometimes. It's like, well, you told us it was going to be 2 or 3. What the hell, man? Yeah, but I wanted to shock you. It's like, yeah, okay, well, you did, but you're still a jerk for lying. So Connie Tompkins, we'll go through some of your guys' responses now to finding out this information. It's fine. How many ways can the same story be told? And, that's true, but he was, I felt like with the Commonwealth stuff is that he was building something different that really was different from before. A lot of the stuff in the Commonwealth and the deaths with Dwight, for example, or Rick, they were totally different from what we had seen in the past. It wasn't like zombies got him or Negan Lucille'd him. It was something more political. It was something more of a commentary on society and on trade and capitalism and socialism. So you had some more political things in there, and it was different from before. And so I am surprised that he ended it at this point, and that he had the person who killed Rick, which we can just say it now, Sebastian. He put it in there. It's like, I don't know. I just felt like, Rick's death should have been more epic or something. Even the TV series death probably would have been better, even if Rick had died at that moment and they all had to watch it on the bridge. Even that would have been more of an epic conclusion for Rick, I guess. It would have been morbid and brutal. But even that would have maybe been better than just some kid sneaking up on Rick in the middle of the night and shooting him in bed or something. Like, it's just, subverting expectations. I can't help but think that he mentions Game of Thrones here. I can't help but think that Game of Thrones had a huge impact on him. And maybe he just decided, like, at some point this year or last year, like, screw it, I'm just going to end it up at this point, whatever. Maybe the Game of Thrones ending was so, like, whatever, that he was like, no one's going to be happy with the ending anyway, forget it, let's just end it, and whatever, no one will be happy with it anyway, right? I don't know, man. Leave your comments below and speculate on what you guys think, why you think it ended so suddenly here and all of a sudden. Moonchild Krabby says, Trev, if this is true, Kirkman better resolve some of these questions. Number one, what caused the epidemic? How did it start? So he never did answer how the zombie apocalypse started or what the cause was. 2, is there an antidote of any kind? And 3, why, Kirkman? Trev, maybe this is just a marketing stunt. He says it's not, but his track record is not the best for honesty. So I guess you could still say, well, one way or another, once you catch someone, it's kind of like you can't really believe what they're saying after, because he said it was going to last, over issue 2, like hundreds of issues. Like, we were getting the impression, like issue 300 or something is the impression we got. And so, if he's saying now that it's over, The Walking Dead is done, I guess we could still be in denial and choose to be like, oh, he's lying about that too or something. I mean, I guess you could choose to have that idea, but we'll see once we read. Maybe issue 193 is like the best issue ever or something, and the ending fits perfectly and it feels really good or something. I don't know. I haven't read it yet. I can't wait to read it. I imagine this time a lot of you guys have read it by now, so you'll be in the know more than I am right now. Marcus in HD says, I don't blame him. I think AMC soured him on his baby. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, especially with the Rick thing, in the comic version, when he did the Rick thing, it's kind of like AMC had already done it earlier, and you have two Walking Dead series that are running simultaneously. Each month the Walking Dead new issue comes out, but then at the same time the TV series is coming out, so it's like, yeah, and the TV series became so popular. Some people don't like it sometimes when their series or one of their favorite niche type things becomes mainstream. When niche stuff becomes mainstream, a lot of people, especially geeks, they turn on it. They think like, oh, everybody likes that now, it's no big deal. I've kind of been like that with the Marvel stuff. I used to love Marvel Comics so much, and the last few years, because of Disney buying Marvel and the movies and everything, I've gotten a bit burned out on it, because it's like everybody, there's Marvel cups at all the convenience stores, for Avengers and all that stuff. It just becomes so big, it's like, I kind of miss it when Wolverine and X-Men were my favorite in the 90s, and the TV series was on, and, it felt more niche at that point. And Marvel's always been big in the comic world, but it just feels like it's so prevalent now, it's so in your face, that it's like sometimes you just want to like, okay, yes, Hulk is funny, I know, okay, fine, right, yeah, this is funny, Thor's fat and whatever, he's got a brutal dad bod or something, he looks like a dwarf now, I don't know. Yes, it's funny, whatever, but sometimes you just want to, because it becomes so mainstream, you just kind of want to push it back, right? So I don't know, maybe that had an effect, maybe you're right. Maybe how popular the TV series did become, and the fact that a lot of people thought the TV series was even maybe better than the comics might have really upset him. I don't know, or maybe it's just because people people were so responsive to Andrew Lincoln leaving as Rick and this kind of thing. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Or maybe he just got tired of doing it over the years and he decided, okay, I'll wrap it up here. No one's going to be satisfied with the ending anyway, so whatever. Negan's Mayo Sandwiches. Comment, this is Robert Kirkman, quote, I'm ending the Walking Dead comics, and then he said, from me, Tregan, you asshole. That's true, right? I know, I do kind of feel that way, man. I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. It's cool, man. He obviously, he did so many years of Walking Dead that it's just whatever. But, yeah, I think a lot of people I've seen in comments right now are like, oh, he's such an asshole. What a jerk. He got us, that friggin' jerk, with the ending, because we all thought it was going to last longer, and it just didn't, and that's it. It just came out of nowhere, just absolutely out of nowhere. Now watch the TV series is going to go a completely different way after Season 10. Well, you could say that, but that's like a back-in-time comment. They've already done that. They've already gone a completely different way. It's like, it's not even, even Carl, and it's not even close to the same thing. So we can't even really say that it's like, oh, they're going to completely break off. It's like they already have, really. I mean, maybe you mean with the villains, with whispers and that kind of stuff, but it's like in Commonwealth, but they already have done that anyway. Froki says, rest in peace, The Walking Dead. And then Hellfire said, this is effing bullshit. So, yeah, man, I understand how you're feeling, man. I really do. It's really a sad day for Walking Dead fans. And I'm really sad for it. You know, it's just what it is. Peggy Sullivan says, no! And then Darth Locust said, why not issue 200? And yeah, man, I mean, yeah, I wanted to see an issue 200 of The Walking Dead. I was looking forward to it. I was thinking, like, okay, issue 100 was the big Negan, Summon to Fear, Glenn thing. And issue 200 could be like Rick or something like that. It could be really big and then it continue on after, but that's not what he wants to do. You know, that's a lot of issues, man. Most authors do not do 192 or 193 issues of a series. It just doesn't happen. So maybe he wants to work on different things, and he's just deciding, like, you know, The Walking Dead is a complete story. It's had its run. It's went on as long as he possibly can do it, longer than almost any series ever, and that it's just time to move on, other projects, other stuff. And yeah, maybe that's it. There's the Invincible stuff coming up too, so maybe he's just too busy now to do that or something. I don't know. I'm speculating here. We'll see what it says in Letter Hacks. Last one from Thomas H. who said, you guys forget Rick said they are not The Walking Dead, so maybe a title change. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. He kind of made it sound like this is the end of The Walking Dead, so maybe that's what's happening, and we'll see. But well, mission accomplished. If you wanted to get people, you know, on edge about it, or you wanted to shock people, he certainly has done that. And I can't wait to read the final issue today. If you guys read it, I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back soon for the review as soon as I can do it, either later today or tomorrow. And man, crazy stuff, guys. Thank you for all your years of support, watching the videos. I hope you still like them and everything. And we'll continue on with you know, further Walking Dead stuff. If it's only a TV series, then, you know, AMC Universe Walking Dead, then I guess that's what it is. You know, I don't know. Maybe that thing just grew into an absolute monster, and now that's really the main Walking Dead to focus on, right? There won't be two anymore. So yeah, that's it for this one, guys. I'll see you again soon for the review. Can't wait to do it. Can't wait to read it. And I hope you guys are doing okay. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.